Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United of the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast in association with Lucky Star Gin. I'm your host Mike, and with me today we have Joe. We have just had a brilliant discussion off air of hair, but it's probably just as well it wasn't recorded because it wasn't that brilliant. But it may have been highlighted this conversation. We'll see. We're going to be discussing the 2-0 loss to Spennymoor, and we're going to look forward to a Tuesday night at Solihull Moors. Or some people are going to look forward to it. Love hearing from you. Join the conversation. Stay connected. Give us your likes, shares, retweets, chats, comments, all the rest of it. Make the ego boost. Thank you very much. Joe, flying solo again for me. Another game. We've got to spread this out a bit. But how have you been? You're doing another job yesterday, or a repeat job?
Oh, a repeat job. I was on the tannoy, the public announcement system, which was a privilege as always. Getting a few song requests for before the match, which is it's a new thing, but you know that's quite fun. And then I'd like, if for anyone, when I announced the goals, I took a video of myself doing them, and then I have the video of me announcing Davies's one against Eastleigh when I last did it, and the difference is like my energy is just goal number 9 for Spennymoor Town, Glenn Taylor. It's so different. I know you can tell I'm a fan because there is no gusto about it anyway. It's like, oh my God, how have we, like the second one in particular, it's like, oh God, that's just shocking.
Yeah.
So no, it's good. Been part of the media team now which is it's about 9 months, 8 months, 9 months, which is it's crazy. And I was just talking to different people yesterday, and always comes back to the podcast, doesn't it, Mike? That's where the link began. So you know, always here to come back, and I love showing up every week. So yeah, thank you very much for having me on.
Perfect. Well, we have got a knowing me, knowing question. Knowing me, knowing you question. Some people would edit that out, but no, we need the minutes. We can do the jingle now. You have the question. Not sure what that special effects was. I just bashed the camera. So, how do you cope with a loss? Does it ruin the weekend? Does it stick with you? Does the cat have to run and hide? How do you cope with a loss?
This is going to be, now I'll answer. It's going to be an annoying answer. It depends on the loss.
Yeah.
If we've played well and you know we just got outplayed by a better team and we threw what we could at it and we had some good moments, then you know what, I'm like, yeah, it might put me in a bit of a mood for an hour or two, but then I'll be like, you know, we'll get back on it. If we're shocking and we provide no fight whatsoever and it's a really depressing display, akin to recent events, then it will make me slightly more unhappy. But it's not like I'm in a mood. I become a bit more like sarcastic, like a bit more, everything's futile. I mean, just give up now, you know, get ready for next season. It's all over. So that's kind of the way I go for it. Also, when we lose valiantly, I'm much more inclined to see the positives rather than the loss. And I think also, this is very niche, but we need the minutes. I always get a drink after the game, not an alcoholic drink. I'm under 18, but a soft drink. And my choice of drink will depend on the result. Like if it's a win, it will always be a Rubicon Mango or a Fanta Fruit Twist, because they're quite peppy drinks, quite fizzy, quite exuberant flavors. If we narrowly lose, it will normally be a Sprite. I don't know why, but I always seem to get Sprite. Like I don't know what the last one was, but Ebbs Fleet in the trophy, we won it, but it was not a good game for us, and we only just snuck it. And I was like, a Sprite feels right. That rhymes. Put that in a tagline. And then yesterday, I needed some forced energy and something to artificially pump me up. So I got a Lucozade Sport, which is actually going to give me an energy boost when I'm really tired and there's not much to make me smile. So I've just elongated a segment into a 2-minute talk about what drinks make me suit a loss. But you started listening, so this is what you signed up for.
It is on you. This is on you for listening. People have often wondered and worried about the state of my mind, but thanks, Joe, because they're now going to be terrified about the state of your mind. So yay!
They already were, Mike. I mean, I think my numerous appearances over the podcast have suggested that I'm not your typical 17-year-old.
Right, share your answers. Give us how you cope with a loss. So at Sutton Podcast on social media, let us know. I'm not sure there's enough characters on most social medias that you can go into that level of detail, but feel free.
Just if anyone really wants to answer the question, just go to the comments of we exit the FA Trophy, and that's a lot of people's feelings. Or just go to the Amber Planet. I mean, you get the whole spectrum on both of them. So if anyone really wants to answer that question, come back to Mike, and we'll do a deep dive into why people feel the way they do about certain people.
Yes, I should do it live, and then we could ring in now.
That would be wonderful.
I mean, you mentioned we tried to find positives. So I did find a positive, and the positive was at least we're not going to have to spend a fortune on tickets to Wembley. So yay! Wonderful. But we are in the semi-finals of the very prestigious National League Cup that everyone is looking forward to. Joking aside, I did speak to someone after the game yesterday, and they kind of acknowledged that people don't love it, but it's a tournament that might be here to stay, and we have a chance of being the first ever winners. And who knows what happens to this tournament in the future? It might actually become a really fans' favourite somewhere down the line, and it will always be the first to win it. So still not 100% sure on it, but we're in the semi-finals. We take it seriously. So yesterday, lineup was quite definitely limited on what we could choose because there were injuries and suspensions. I was in the hospitality and I did a little interview with Tyler and said, "Oh, why aren't you playing?" He said, "Oh, I've got 2 yellow cards." So I was like, terrible example for our captain, isn't it? People started booing him. I was like, yeah, reaction I want. But what did you feel about the lineup and what were your expectations before the game? I kind of know the general expectation is they're in a division below us, therefore we're going to win. Is what most people thought.
Yeah, but also they're really not a bad team. They've been kicking at the top of Vanarama North for so many years and just have got unlucky in so many occasions. And they've got some very good, definitely National League quality players in them. So I didn't think it would be an easy game. And I don't think, coming down that far, very, very good away support and have got to the depths of the FA Trophy before. I didn't think it would be some people thought it might be a bit of a slam dunk. I really wasn't expecting that type of game, but I didn't expect it to be so much the other way. The lineup, yeah, you're right. I thought maybe Boateng might start just because he's really good in cup competitions and actually it comes alive. Apart from that, I was good to see Nada's back in the team. He's been injured on and off, and because Simpa's kind of moving forward a little bit in that role, and so is Wadham, and it's been rejigging it because Will's in such good goal scoring form. He hasn't really been in the team that consistently over the last month and a bit, so it was nice to see him on the team sheet. But yeah, 5 subs on a bench isn't what you want.
No.
And no defensive options. I mean, it was an entirely attacking bench, apart from Matt Kirby, who I don't really see putting a shift in at centre back. So, I wasn't unhappy. Exactly. Don't be until you try it. Might have got us something yesterday. No, I was happy with the team. I won't lie. I was shocked when I saw Ryan Jackson at right centre back. I think Jacko's very good. I think he's excellent link up with Coley. However, when Coley's really, let's be honest, he's not playing in his natural position as right wing back, and then Jackson playing in his natural position at right centre back, that was a weakness throughout the game because Jacko wanted to advance forward, which then left Ransom a little bit exposed. And also the fact Ransom in the middle of that linchpin back three, you had Muller and Jackson, both very aggressive players, wanted to come forward with the ball, but they couldn't do that because otherwise it would be one via very, very potent Spennymoor front line. So I was a little bit concerned just because, we also haven't really, well, we have, but we've kind of adjusted this formation going back to the 3-back with a 3-4-2-1. It has been fruitful, but there are other games where it's really not been the best for us. And I feel like today was the first day where I already felt we missed Jeremy Sivvy. I think in an ideal world, I'd have him at right wing back and Coley pushed forward, and then I don't know how you'd rearrange it or something, but I don't know. It felt like Josh was inhibited by the fact that he hadn't played there for a long time, and realistically, Josh is at his best when he's 1-on-1 and running and making those runs in behind, and he really couldn't do that today or yesterday, and it was. That was my area of concern. It kind of proved to be in the match itself. It's not like there were many glaring mistakes. Like the whole team, pretty much bar one or two, were off it. But they, it felt that bit of the pitch felt too makeshift, and we got exposed.
Yes. Funny you use the expression "off it" because I kind of maybe it's the amber glasses. I didn't think anyone was off it, but I didn't think everyone was on it. I thought everyone was kind of there in the middle.
Yeah,
no
that's what I mean. Off it compared to Spennymoor. Spennymoor were on it, like aggressive. We felt very much in neutral, and then we couldn't get into second or third. I don't think I agree. I don't think everyone was off. I think people made mistakes, but in comparison, we looked off the pace. But it wasn't like there was anyone in that game who was like, oh my gosh, he had a nightmare. It was, we didn't play well as a team. Yeah. We looked like a team of individuals who didn't know how to get from back to front, whereas they looked they showed why they're a good Vanarama North side, and it really showed why the gap between those divisions is getting smaller and smaller. Like the amount of players we signed from them, Sidhu, Edwino, the amount of players we signed from their divisions and had proven themselves in their divisions, even Will to an extent, and have done well for us this season, shows that when teams come up next season, unless we do a miracle title jars or things go pear shaped and somehow we would go down, I expect a mid table finish. We can't discount them. You've got some extremely good teams in those divisions below, and they are chomping at the bit to prove themselves. And I think we've underestimated that a few times this year, and I think yesterday was another example.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. You always say, right, you're playing the team, ignore the league table and all this kind of thing, but you're going to look at it, you're going to look and go, oh, well, you know what, we're going to be much better than them. So it's always going to be in the back of your mind. But although we lost 2-0, I was watching back the highlights, and actually that game could have ended 3-3 or anything in between, because there was some great saves by their keeper. There was another one, I think it was from Josh, which was just completely off the line. I mean, it was in. And their guy somehow managed to just clear it off the line. And their keeper made, I think, 2 or 3 good saves. And obviously, Jack had another one, a point-blank save as well. So it could have almost been anything from 0-0 up to 3-3. I thought it was 0-2. The first goal I'm going to take full responsibility for, because I had my coat on. And I was like, it's a bit warm. I took the coat off, tucking it onto the back of the stand. And I said to someone as I was doing it, if we start getting in trouble, I have to put that back on. Turn around and they scored. So, put my coat back on. If you watch the highlights, you'll be able to see me putting my coat back on after they've scored. sake. But yeah, we had some chances. We didn't take them, which is story of our season, really. I mean, there was Will ahead. Will, their keeper saved it full stretch.
Yeah, very good save.
Yeah, excellent save. So it's not. Yeah, the highlight is we lost 2-0, but it's not as bad as it seems. Do you think? Although we've kind of already said what we think it was, but do we think that it was the midfield we lost it on, or do you think it was that defensive? Not any individual, but it was just the whole makeshift side of it. Is that basically was unsettling the whole team?
I don't even think I can pinpoint it on defence or midfield. I think it's just and this worries me going into the next set of games because we're Tuesday, Saturday for like next 2-3 weeks, just to rearrange games or something. They looked like they had an extra man in the sense that it just felt like whenever they were coming forward or whether they were linking up or playing out the back or doing what they wanted to do, it felt like there was an extra option. It always felt like we were on the ball. We were really, well, it was negative football. We were very sideways passing, and it was very clear that Steve and John were very unhappy with that. Watching from the main stand, it was clear. It just, we weren't getting ourselves in the right positions, and I really don't know where to pinpoint it, because I think I have to put it down to them being very, very good and them sticking to a game plan which they had studied very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
With a combination of we didn't know how to counter that. We have the passing lanes, the ball forward from the wing back into the winger to come forward. Nadders and Davies linking up. You never saw that yesterday. It was none of those balls. Like the chances came from the wing backs, and those two players who play off the shoulder of Will were, if I'm honest, completely anonymous throughout the game. Which was Simper and Nadders, pretty much anonymous in that first half. It was mainly Josh and who's playing at left wing back? Edwino.
Vaz in the first half. And
Vaz. Yeah. Vaz and Coley in particular. I just remember several occasions where they just get boxed in, and they'd have to go back to Jackson. Jackson would be under pressure because it's not his natural position, and Ransom, who's an excellent defender, and he made some good blocks, 1 or 2, but again isn't a natural passer for the ball. And Hayden Muller, who out of the 3 is probably the most suited, but then is also playing on the left of the back 3, and he's never played there. He's normally a right-sided centre back, or just that's where he normally plays. So. And then it went back to Jack Sims. We'd punt it upwards. They'd win the aerial. And I think the other thing I will say is they were so good on their second balls, especially in that first half. They won every knockdown without fail. And I think it was about the 38th minute. And, I'm doing the PA. I'm keeping most of my focus on the game, but there's also parts of me which is like, am I, looking at substitutions, just match flow, all this, just making sure I've got everything. And I texted my mum and I looked up. And I think it was Edwino who got into a really good position. And behind him, he had Alex Woodyard, Barbrook for 3 defenders, and Simper, who had dropped back behind him. And he hit the only ball forward he had was Nadders, who was on the complete other side, marked by a defender, and Davies, who was in between 2 defenders. And all he tried to do was hit it towards Davies. It went over everyone and went out for a goal kick. And Steve, I don't think he threw anything, but he just flung his arm in the air, and I think he shouted something. I don't know what he shouted, but I was like, that is the most stagnant piece of football I've seen in a long time, because there was no options for him, and I felt bad for him in that situation because he'd worked really hard. He got like past 2 players. He just looked up and there was no one there. So I think it's partly they were very good, but also we didn't do ourselves any favors because we didn't figure out. It was almost like we were relying on them to not do their job in order for us to do our job. We didn't try and think, how do we solve this? And we did in the second half to an extent early on, I'm sure you come on to it, but yeah, you know what I mean?
Dylan came on, looking very, very lively. Was basically told, get past your man, beat your man.
And he did.
He did. But then the situation that you've just described was still happening. He's beating his man, he's getting his cross in, and there's not always someone in there to do anything. I think was it Steve who said we were huffing and puffing?
Yeah,
I think it might be him in the interview, huffing and puffing, which kind of again sums the game up. So yeah, we should have only just done. Okay, we lost. It was huff and puff, and they were better than us on the day. See you later. But how excited you see Dylan's obviously he's had that injury. He's basically missed a load of the season, but he seems to be sort of coming on now and trying to make that difference. Not just trying, he's making a bit of a difference. How excited you see him for sort of running the season? I mean, some of it's a bit tailing out now, but
yeah, no, I'm really excited. He was really good yesterday, and he almost took it upon himself to make things happen, and still it wasn't happening in the box for him. And he put some good balls in, and there were chances here and there, and cleared it off the line. Like, things were happening, and it was really good football. And it then got to the end, but he'd run for about half an hour, and then there were points where he'd get the ball and he just tried to touch too heavy, and you can tell you could tell he was trying to drag the game by the scruff of the neck and make it happen himself. And you could tell that by about 10 minutes before the end, because he was just a bit like. There was a bit of a spark that went out in the way he was playing. But I'm really excited for him. I just remember seeing him pre-season. He looked excellent. Tamworth, even before the injury, he looked lively. He was the best player on the pitch before, him and Hayden Muller were the best players on the pitch before he went down. That was only in the 20th minute. So, and Hayden Muller's missed a large portion injured as well. So, him in particular, I'm looking forward to. He's got I think he's got 2, maybe 3-year contract. I think he's here till 2026. I read something. I don't want to say that 100%, but I read something that he is. And yeah, I really think that will be an excellent. Well, no, not an acquisition, but it's almost like having a new signing, kind of, because I do think that Josh is excellent, but I think Dylan can play that wing back role slightly better. Coley is better in the advanced position. He is better, and we saw it in the start of the season. He's an excellent finisher of the ball, and he's been injured. So when we're basically back to full strength squad now, barring Arnie and Harris, and I really do miss Jaden Harris. I never realised we really do miss him, and I hopefully he's back for the start for the preseason next season. I don't think he's going to be back for this season, but I was happy for Dylan, because he's had a rough time of it, and he there's a reason he started that first game at Tamworth, because he impressed Steve, and Steve was gutted in that interview. So yeah, I felt like yesterday everyone was like, oh yeah, that's why. That's exactly why I signed. That's what everyone said he could do. He reminded me a little bit of Dion Pereira in that game against Horsham, where in the FA Cup, where he just looked like he could beat anyone, and we now know what he can do at Dagenham. They're having a rubbish season now, but he's still shining in a really poor team now. Obviously things didn't go great in the following weeks after that, and he didn't really fit into what Steve wanted to do. But he didn't get in the team under Matt, and then came and had an amazing game and a brilliant cameo, and took his chance. Things didn't go great after that. I think it's a similar case. We just got to give Dylan the time to show what he can do, because there's a player in there who I genuinely think could be a massive asset, especially not coming off the bench. But I don't want to limit him to a bench role, but against teams tiring, fixture congestion towards the end of the season, including ourselves. Let's say comes on 50th minute most games. That's a real problem for defenders, especially big lumbering National League defenders who have been struggling against physical players like Nadders and Davis and Simper, and next season Harris. Then when he comes on, you've got someone who looks like can beat you every time and is ridiculously quick, and that is and he can finish as well. I've seen him finish, so hopefully that we can unlock that. But the problem is, does he get the game time? Does he get the spot? Does the tactics fit him? Because there are various points this season where you don't see him fitting into a system because of the way we use wide players.
Yeah, but then you never know when we've got everyone back together and he's got his full squad, which is always a dream. He may then just go, well, we're going to go back to what I wanted to do at the start. But we'll see. His interview, I did panic a little bit because I thought this isn't like him at all. Where he said some of the decisions were awful, and I thought, I don't remember the ref making bad decisions. What's he on about? And then he realised he was talking about the players' decisions, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I get what you're saying there, but I did think, whoa. But
Ref weren't bad.
Yeah, it's like we said, it wasn't particularly off it. It was not on it, which is what we kind of said earlier. Set pieces. There's been a bit of sort of chit chat about set pieces. Do we have a set piece coach? I know we like to keep the ball moving, and I sort of have said, oh yeah, when does the set piece stop being a set piece? Because sometimes we pass the ball around and it goes 6-7 passes, and then we do something with it. But do you miss the days of lining up for a nice free kick? Everyone sort of lining up to get on their head on it, because they didn't do much from set pieces either yesterday, which is a surprise. But do you miss those old days?
At the grand old age of 17, listening those days, you know what I really do. I don't know how many goals you score from set pieces this season, but it must be below 5 or something. We don't.
That's what I mean, though. It's when, if it's a corner, and then it comes back out and it even goes all the way back to Jack. But if we keep the ball and we make, let's say, 30 odd passes, does that still count as a goal from a set piece? I don't know. Technically,
no. Well, yeah, but
if they haven't lost the ball,
that's a push. That's a put. No, that's a push for the stat. No, surely not. It has to come from, like, let's say 5 passes. Like the short corner, yeah, fine, but not ball in, ball out, cleared away, back out. I mean,
no, I'm not about cleared away. I'm talking about the ball never leaving our possession.
Nah, I'm not having it.
You're not having it. All right.
I'm not. Yeah, set piece coach, I think is a ridiculous idea. Personally, I like a National League side having a set piece coach. I mean, like there are some teams in the Prem I don't think have set piece coaches. I don't think it's about. I think we need to stick to one and commit to it. Get very good at the way we're going to set up with set pieces. But right now it's a mix of get the ball in, look for the big players, which never seems to really come to fruition, and it's only ever really Will who gets on the end of it. I mean, we had Kirky scored from a corner, but it was a flick on and it didn't. That was very rare. So, or we go short, we play it, and we put the ball in, but again, that hasn't really yielded much either. Whether it's just it felt like in League Two we had a pretty good system. Look for Joe, look for Omar, look for.
Yeah, exactly.
Either Omar, Ben, Louis, you had any Kobe Rowe. I mean, just remember the amount of headers he scored. Like we had a system, we had those big. We don't have those massively tall players anymore.
Exactly. We had the personnel, and the personnel we have now is more set up to pass that ball around.
That's true. Yeah.
It's just one of those points. I'm like, I don't know.
Delivery could be better. That's the one thing I would say. There are a number of set pieces and balls in yesterday which went over everyone, which, I get. And if we are going to put it in, I think either we should be putting it near post because we've got athletic, agile youngsters who can run at the ball and try and flick it on, or we should be aiming just for the penalty spot and trying to cause chaos in the area because, if it does get cleared away, we should be looking at the Simpers, Jack Williams of this world on the edge of the box who can hit a ball to come up on the rebound. But right now, if the ball gets cleared away, our resort is back to Tyler, back to Hayden, back to Harry, back to whoever's there, and then we'll go up and set up again, and then the momentum's lost. So that's the thing we should fix, in my opinion.
So with everything, I mean, I've said in the past to some of the staff that I can tell you almost what the fans are going to be saying based just solely on the result because it's always the same. We lost, but even I got caught by surprise by people saying this was the worst performance they've seen. Some said worst performance this season. Some were worst performance ever. But it was like, okay, it was flat. We didn't do very well, but is this your first day? Because definitely we've seen worse. This season we've seen worse.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then there was talk again. Some people go, "Oh, we're only this many points above the relegation spot." It's like,
I've actually had enough. This
Yeah.
is rubbish. It's such a tight league.
You know what? We may be that many points above it, but there's so many teams that have to get those points as well. So,
And we've got games in hand. I'm not saying they're easy games in hand. I mean, Fylde away, Solihull away, Forest Green away aren't easy games. But you look at those teams. Solihull can't buy a win to save them lives. Fylde are in the relegation battle, and Forest Green are losing touch with the title race. On a good day with a good team, that's 9 points. And then what you're saying? You're saying Morison for manager of the month. Just pick a mood and stick to it. Like I don't understand it. There are some people who will be like Morison out. And you know what? At that point, if you keep saying it, I can't even disagree with you. You've stuck to your corner. You've put yourself in that position. If that's what you believe, fair enough. I'm not going to, I'll disagree with you. I don't agree at all. But, I'm not going to do that. It's the people who go like, excellent. 4-3 against Gateshead. We put in a spirited performance yesterday, worst performance of your lives. Have you seen Boston? Have you seen Dagenham? Have you seen these games this season where we genuinely have looked? There were so many individual mistakes. We got outplayed yesterday and we got tactically beaten. But then, we scored 3 goals midweek to a team and, we got outdone by a worldie. And there were some brilliant individual performances. So we've got a striker for the first time in how many years? I mean, Tanto in the title-winning season, but we've got a striker who's in the Golden Boot race. He's not going to win it, obviously, but he's in the top 5. Unless you have Will Davis scores 4 at Solihull. But I mean, we've been saying 20 goal season striker, and still I don't know why he's not getting plaudits. Like we get more plaudits. Will Davis gets more plaudits. Apart from the whole Gucci bag York thing, he gets more plaudits for his actual goal scoring from other fans and other content creators than our actual fans. We have got a 20 goal a season striker. You've all been saying we need a 20 goal a season striker. Enjoy him while he's here, because if we don't go up, I can guarantee you another South London club, probably Bromley, probably Wimbledon, probably Gillingham, they'll be sniffing around and thinking, look, he's a striker, he's proven himself, let's have a go in League 2 next year. And that's what's going to be happening. And if you're just having it's just the nature of football. We lose games. Not every single one has to be a complete meltdown. That's what really annoys me. So that was passionate, but I really don't understand it.
Well, I didn't hear it because where I was, but there were.
Oh yes, no, I was there.
For Steve to resign.
Just resign. Why would he resign? He's built a squad from scratch that went down from League 2 that he almost saved. He couldn't quite save it in time, but we were miles adrift at Christmas. He's built a squad. He's remodeled the club on the way we play football. We're a very different club to where we were a year ago. Why would he resign? Oh, yeah.
It's basically, he knows this. People are like, basically, he's not the chit-chatty manager who comes into the bar to have a good drink with fans all night. This isn't me. I know. It's only because you're the only one here, and it's sad to go shouting at you as a representative for the people. But yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't think everyone realizes how far away he lives, and
he lives in Northampton, doesn't he?
Yeah, he lives miles away. I have said, I finish work at, let's say, 5 o'clock. Do I then want to go and hang around with the people that are with my customers, basically, for the next 2 hours? No, I want to go.
He was there yesterday. Well, I don't think he was in the bar yesterday, but he was. I saw him. He was there, and he was animated when I walked past. So, and also, you finish work at 5 o'clock. Let's say you've had a terrible day where you've been shouted at by your boss and a bunch of people have told you you're useless. Yeah, let's go and say hello to all of them and smile and put on a wonderful day. Oh, and also, Josh Coley got individual abuse from fans, and I was there next to him, and when he was complaining to stewards about it. And not what's one 17-year-old who works for the club is going to do, I don't know, but just individual is so unnecessary. If I'm not saying individual. Josh had a decent performance yesterday, did what he could, as did the team. Yeah, get annoyed at the team. As Steve said, get annoyed at me. I'm representative for the team. Don't get annoyed at individual players, because that is just unnecessary. And I've never I've seen Josh around. It's really lovely guy. And I've never seen him that upset, and just felt unnecessary. So just leave it out.
It's the personal. It's
Yes.
So it's like, yeah, can say he's had an awful game, blah blah blah. It's the personal, and again, it's so easy to forget that some of these players' friends, family are there. I had a good long chat with Hayden's mum and dad yesterday. We were chit-chatting during the game, and it's so difficult. Yes, the players can kind of brush it off and be like, "Oh, it's part of it." But if their family and kids are sitting there and people are hearing it, it's like, "Whoa, hang on a minute."
Yeah, Josh's partner was there. Like after he had a go at the steward, he was right there. I was just like, and they're humans as well. I mean, would you like it? It's the best way. It's the best way I can put it. But just give it up.
There is. I mean, these guys, they are great. I've got to know some of them quite well with the chit chats and stuff. But they can take the banter. Give them the banter all you like. Like for example, even young gorgeous George who joined us when he was just announced as player of the match, and then he slipped over. I did ask him, "You going to mention that slip in your little interview afterwards?" And he was just pissing himself, going, "Yeah, it was awful." But they can take it. But yeah, getting personal and stuff is, and especially they come off the pitch, they ain't going to be happy they've just lost. They're not going to be skipping along, going, "Yeah, you got a point there, mate." And of course, they're going to be a little bit annoyed. But anyway, we're going to finish with yesterday. We're going to jump onto the good, the bad, and the funny. If I can remember which button it is. Oh,
could get knowing me, knowing yous again.
Yeah. Oh no, hang on. We got points of views. I forgot that. The points of view. This is the new one.
I know. I've saw it on social media.
It's time to have you say what's good, bad, okay. On the pitch or not, we'll talk about the lot. Your thoughts, your views on the latest news. It's your points of views.
Right. Well, I'm going to be honest. What I do is when people do it, I copy and paste it into the sheet, and I don't really read it. We've kind of done this one.
Go on.
Some Spennymoor players were in the bar yesterday, and lots of comments for people about, well, where are our players? Well, the person still says maybe our players are wary about the reception they're going to get, especially after a loss, and they read some of the vile comments put to them on social media, or as we've just said, shouted at them. Don't blame them for not coming in the bar. This is someone who's been sporting for a very long time. A more encouraging fan base after matches would see the players mix more. I think those days are gone. I think we've discussed it before with different people on the podcast. This is a far more professional group of players. They're young guys. They're not into that kind of culture. You're not going to see the captain sitting in the bar for a few hours after the match, chatting to people. But we've just kind of covered it. Do you agree that the players are unlikely to come in where they feel like they're not going to be welcome?
Yes, completely. I don't have even, a much younger fan, completely contrast the experience. I feel very connected with many people at the club, and even though I'm not a player, not for me. And I know a lot of people in my generation that's really not really for them. So it isn't what it was. I don't think it's about an encouraging thing, because I think it's a very polar thing. If we win, let's be encouraging. If we lose, we don't. I mean, it's simple as that. So so many people I've discussed it. Well, people I've discussed it with saying, "Oh, I don't know why he just doesn't do it." All this, it's a thing from Steve. It's a thing from Steve. I just think it was a nice thing to have, but we've moved on. We are we are a different place. It's not going to go back. Let's go and let's make the best of what we've got now, because you've got an excellent group of players who, after something, this has been going on all season. I think we just need to just put it to one side and go.
No, absolutely. And every one of those players, if you hang around the pitch after the match, they are all there. Photos for the kids, not just kids, anyone who wants a photo, actually. Photos, doing the signing of shirts and stuff as well. So they're really kind of involved, but just not going in the bar, because that's just.
And anyone who wants to say something to Steve yesterday, really rough interview. He looked hurt. He looked disappointed, and he could have just walked straight past. Group of kids with small signing shirts, went and signed every single one of them. You're saying he's not. You're saying he's not chatty. Saying he's not people. I've had interactions with him. My first day, I did on my PA. Came into the office with this cup of tea, and Mr. Jack Daly himself said, "Oh, I've got new PA outs," and I was like, "Yeah, brilliant." I was like, "Good luck today, mate. Really lovely. Didn't have to. No reason to. Didn't have to do it yesterday. Let's just not vilify someone who, again, you don't really know." So, and I mean, you've had interactions with him, I'm sure, Mike, and many different people and the players themselves. They are a lovely bunch. Just because they don't do what other people did in the past doesn't make them horrible, doesn't make them not care, because they really, I think they do.
The flip side is what gave all those players, and Matt especially, all that sort of length of time is because of the relationship that was built up, and everyone's like, "Oh, you know what? He's a good bloke." Blah blah blah. So that's why things turn quickly. Although I disagree turning as quickly as they have done.
People have done, yeah.
A couple of games, I'll go, that's it. He's got to go. That's ridiculous. Come on. Yeah. There was another chat. Andrew McVicker brought this up on Facebook. It was about the food. Now, someone had gone to Tooting and Mitcham, and they've shown their picture of. I'm going to be honest. I think they've been a little bit over generous with the price. Where I think they might have mistaken what they paid for, but it was a big plate of jerk chicken, plantain, and rice, and they said it was $6.99, and it did look very nice. And it's like, why can't we do anything like this? And it's like, well, we possibly could, because I believe his contract's been looked at. But B, would people support it? So I'm very much in favour of having different food vans every week, like we had for a little while in that fan zone. Just so people can try different things, but I'm just worried that people will get it and go, "Oh, I don't fancy that," and just want to stick to their burger and chips. So all these new things will just fizzle out, because why would the business come into us if they're not making their money back? But what do you think? I know you've got fairly strong opinions about the food, and especially the burger at Brentford.
I forgot about my burger at Brentford. That's made me happy. I mean, I'm a burger and chips merchant. Burgers, chips, and a drink. Very happy with that. Well, actually, I only got a burger yesterday. Really enjoyed it. I mean, there is always a group at every match. Some clubs more than others, which come for the day, not for the club. And I know of other clubs. Dulwich Hamlet is an example. Really don't. No offense to all Dulwich Hamlet fans. I've got a very close mate who is. I don't like Dulwich Hamlet. They want to stay in the division they're in because they can keep serving alcohol. So, and a lot of their fans are yummy mummy Dulwich mums and dads who come out for the day. However, that works for them because they different types of food. They can get lots of food vans in. A large core of our club come every week for the club. There are, and I don't think we can think of the wide array of things. Wood-fired pizza, a Caribbean food truck, maybe a curry one week, maybe one that alternates or a different week. I could get behind that, but I'd actually say, not say improve, maybe a bit more option in the other the burgers and the hot dogs, because that is where the bulk of what people get. A pie, yeah. I mean, just £8 for a double cheeseburger, which is quite a lot, and it isn't the price. I don't think the burger you get is worth £8.
Yeah.
It's my personal thing. I never get it. I only get the normal cheeseburger. However, I think if you made it better bang for your buck, let's say you get a slightly bigger burger, or you reduce the prices, you'd get a lot more people getting it, and that's actually, I think what a lot of the fan base would want. I think that actually, might provide some alternate, and let's say we did a day where it's a nice hot summer's day at the start of the season, 26th of August, or the bank holiday days. That is the day to do it, because you'll get people who come out and think, "Oh, nice day, let's go to the football." What is it, league match, close match, nice atmosphere, blah, 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 blah. On the dark, dreary days of Maidenhead at home in November, I really don't see, jerk chicken, plantain, and rice going down the massive train for the vendor or for the fans. I think people will pretty much get me a chips, get me a tea, and get me home. and get a win.
Yeah.
And I think people want that. So I think you've got to think of the scenario and the kind of feasibility for the club and the seller.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't want to have this thing where we invite people in going, oh, yeah, we're getting crowds of like 3,000. They're thinking, right, I'm going to get loads of them. And they sell 4 things all day. So, but yeah, I mean, I do like the idea of some different options on a different basis. But right, we're going to finish up with yesterday. We're going to do the good, bad, and funny eventually. It's Fozzie Bear, wacka, 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 not whack, whack, whack.
Oh, that scared the life out of me. Oh.
It was a good one. Right.
No, it's good. It's just scared the life out of me. I was expecting the 1-1, you know.
You see?
It kept me on my toes.
What's good about yesterday?
What was good about yesterday? John Meaney said hello to me. I don't think he had a clue who he was, but he gave me a very nice hello. So thank you, John. So he was lovely. You know, I think he knew everyone else in the office said hello to me. How are you, mate? You're good. Didn't have a clue who I was, but he gave me a really nice welcome. So on a pretty miserable result.
John watches.
Does he?
Watches or listens, I can't remember. But
so John, I'm the one at the back of the office who was sat on a chair, who you went to Jack, then you went to Aaron, then you went to me. So yeah, I'm Joe. I'll see you at another game this month. Now you actually know who I am. If he isn't listening, I've just said this whole spiel for nothing. But if you are, hello.
But John's baby was there with his wife, and he said, "Oh, my family going to come," and I went, "You best warn your wife. As soon as I see that child, I'm going to be coming in and just sort of basically taking him from her." He was all right. And I saw him afterwards, and yeah, there was in the VP though. I think it was Bruce, Gary, and Steve talking to each other. And as I came in, they kind of turned and said hello. I went, yeah, got far more important things. I went straight up and grabbed the baby and was playing with his baby. This was like, who the hell is this?
Some random guy. We don't want to tell him to leave. He just takes everyone's babies and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I think gave her lots of unsolicited advice going, oh, when you go back to work, this, that, you got to do this. And I went, yeah, everyone keeps telling you this when you got a baby. I'm sorry. It's bad. So yeah, giving any advice to new mums, try and always frame it that it's you could do this, not you should do this, because eventually you'll get a punch in the face, and I should have got one. What was bad yesterday?
I could say the result, but it's really boring. I will say my clothing choices. I decided not to wear a coat. And that was actually quite nice because the weather wasn't bad, but I was then walking. Do you know Elephant and Castle Station?
Yes, I do.
Do you know the National Rail and the Underground bit are separate?
Yes.
I didn't.
Right.
So I had to walk through Elephant and Castle at 7:30, and it was really cold, and I had my Sutton gilet/jacket up, and I was like this, and I was like, yeah, I really should have brought my coat over this, but otherwise, and then I look like the Michelin Man. So, you know, it's the trials and tribulations of a 17-year-old learning how to dress for the football. You know, we're all on the journey together, guys. I mean, I'll give you an update soon.
I don't need your advice, Mum. I'm a big boy now.
That's literally what happened. Sure, you don't want to take a coat, and I was like, no, the weather's nice. The amount of times that's happened this season, I still don't learn. Yeah. No.
Well, for me, the sort of the reaction, the knee-jerk, massive swing the other direction. I know they come, but it did even take me by surprise. What was funny?
What was funny? This is really funny. So Tony Dolbear, the club legend or media officer, so he arrived at the ground yesterday, and Max, the ticketing guy, was tucking into like a jar or like a mug full of oats and honey and fruit and lovely like that. And Tony, genuinely with the best delivery ever, said, "Max, are you eating mud?" Completely unironically, and the whole media office person to laughter. I was like, and he said, "Yeah, no, it's just organic mud," and he was genuinely concerned for Max's well-being because it's oats and like things. And it actually sounded really nice. It did look like mud in a jug, mud in a mug, and like Tony was like genuinely like, I think he was stood there, I think, for like 10 seconds trying to work out what it was, and then just like announced to the rest of the room. And no, it was just very funny. Maybe he had to be there, but that's the only real funny thing I can remember.
I can hear Tony's voice when you say that. You seem mad. Right, perfect. I'm stealing someone's baby or taking my coat off and putting it back on promptly.
You're gonna get branded as the baby snatcher, Mike the baby snatcher Dowling.
You know, yeah, do you know what? Everyone's like doesn't understand because I saw little cheese yesterday, CJ, and I haven't seen her for ages. Just came in and swooped her up, and she was just sitting in my arms nicely. I was like, I probably shouldn't do this. If I don't take them away from the parents, I have to pick them up. Kids are great. I'd rather spend my day with kids than adults, to be honest. Right. So very quickly, Solihull on Tuesday. It's going to be on in the bar, hopefully, because someone has been given responsibility to make sure it goes on in the bar.
Oh dear.
So yeah.
So for anyone coming on Sunday, bring alternative entertainment just in case Mark can't get it on. Bring Ludo, apps of games on your phone, and perhaps a game of charades.
No, I'll be there. So there's microphones. So even if the TV's not on,
Do a live podcast.
I'll just listen to it on Mixlr and then tell everyone what's going on.
Someone scored. I'm not sure who.
Not sure who. Oh, hang on. It might be for them. Oh, no, I'm listening to a different game. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yes, do come along on Tuesday. It will be good. I really enjoyed it when we did that at the Gateshead one. It's actually, I think there was about 50, 60 people in there at one point. So, yeah, that was real fun watching the game. I know it's a good game, but it really good to watch it with other Sutton fans as well. But how do you see it going? How do you feel that we're going to do? We are playing better away. Well, we seem to be playing better away than we do at home. But someone did stats, I think, on Amber Planet, and they said we get an average of 1.33 points away and 1.35 at home. So it's actually similar, or that could have been the other way around. But the results are actually very, very similar. But it seems to be we're playing better away. We've
had more away postponements as well, though. So that's the one thing I would say. Solihull have made a real blunder with their managerial decision. Matt Taylor from Wealdstone? I'm pretty sure. I'm going to check because otherwise I've just named some random other player. Matt Taylor is the manager. No, it's not Matt Taylor. Hold on. Oh no, it is Matthew Taylor. There's two Matt Taylors. There's two managers. Sorry, little detour. But yeah, no, they've it doesn't seem to be working for them. You know, nowhere near the heights of where they got to last season, minutes away from Wembley, minutes away from League Two. So we should be looking to capitalise on that. You've got a lot of players who couldn't play on Saturday, who will likely probably come into the 11 on Tuesday, apart from Bez, who's going to have just a rest for the next week or two. He's got 3 games off for the suspension, then an extra one because he got a red at Bromley earlier this season, which for some reason means he has to have another game. But rules are rules, I guess. So yeah, that'll be a nice injection. I'd like Dylan to start. I think that'd be good. You'll probably have Tyler, Siju, come into the team. I don't want to see us play another 3 back. Really, I'd like us to go back to where we were. I don't know. I just feel a bit worried by the way they're doing, but they're not in good form at all, and we should be trying to take care of that. I mean, this month there are quite a lot of games where I look at them and saying, yeah, but this could actually be quite a good month for us. We catch up now. We don't have an extra 2 games. That's another positive of the trophy. We have, the likes of Woking, Aldershot, and Rochdale around us, who all got through. They're not too far off. I think all of them. They all have games. Rochdale have only played 30 games. Some teams have played 34, 35. So now they've got a massively congested fixture schedule. I can imagine. I wouldn't be surprised if we just saw Tuesday, Saturday for the rest of the season for them. Look, we've got Solihull looking for points there. Dagenham, who look like they're just sliding. Boston, Halifax, who can be very interchangeable based on the day. Forest Green away, which we had a great time there last season. It's kicked a little bit of a revival for us. That was good. Fylde have interim managers. They look like they're sliding towards the drop as well. So you've got lots of games where you look at them and think, yeah, that could be good. And I'm not saying seventh, we're going to clinch seventh. I think that's a bit far at the moment. And I think the aim for the squad will be all right. Let's try and get top 10. That's the first aim. See what we can do from there.
Yeah.
And National League champions. Sorry, National League Cup champions. Oh dearie. But yeah, for Solihull, I think we've got to be looking to take advantage and use it as momentum, because it'd be very easy to let Spennymoor affect that result and then slide and not make the most of the next few. Who do we play on the 8th? Maidenhead. Another team who can be very interchangeable based on the day. So this could be an excellent month. But I know it's going to feel like I'm playing devil's advocate. It could, if we don't, I feel like Solihull is a real platform for us to build, and we've got to use it effectively. It's away, 3 away games on the trot: Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday. So it's brutal. We can come out of that with 6, 7, if not 9 points. Forest Green's a difficult game, but I wouldn't not back us. So we've just got to be looking to be positive. This is another reason why the comments, as you said, and the stuff and the way that people turn gets and really gets on my nerves, because you say, turn a new game. It's very difficult with a new game when you've got so many people just not hating, for want of a better word. I mean, it's a massively important time of the season. You say, playoffs are out of the possibility now. Playoffs aren't out of the possibility until they're mathematically out of the possibility. Steve said that throughout. It's not over till it's over. So
win. I'm not saying we're going to win the next 3 in a trot, but if we were to win the next 3 in a trot, suddenly it's a whole different conversation.
Exactly. We're eighth. We're eighth, and results have gone away, and we're 3 points off the playoffs. Exactly.
I'm definitely with you there. I'm going to push you though for a prediction. I mean, you don't join in the league. You've done 1 and got 1 point. So
I'm so proud of it, because do you know something good about being bottom of the league? 2-4 in favour of Sutton.
Okay.
I don't know why. I was going to say 2-1, but it's boring. But I think you were going to say 2-1 now.
No, I'm not. I'm going to go 2-0 to us.
Yeah. I genuinely think we would win every single competition we played in if it was down to me and your predictions.
Yeah, Alex Trez is even worse than us.
We'd be in
like 4-0, 5-0.
We'd be in the championship by now.
We'd be in the Champions League. One other little quick thing I just mentioned on Maidenhead. So yes, I was in the bar chatting yesterday, and said to Bruce, "Right, see you in a couple of weeks." And he was like, "What do you mean a couple of weeks?" He goes, "There's other games." And then Steve turned around and went, "Yeah, but he doesn't go to away games, does he?" And I'm like, And then the two of them tried telling me that Maidenhead was in the M25. And I'm like, it ain't. I promise you, it is not within the M25. I know my little moat. I know what's inside the M25 and what's outside. So, Chertsey was just about inside. So let's.
I wanted to go to Maidenhead, but I have a musical on and a birthday party. So I was like, because it's an old-fashioned school, old-fashioned ground. It's quite fun to go to. But it is what it is.
Exactly. Right, we have done amazingly well. All those people thinking at the start, what are they talking about? They've done about an hour. Why are they saying they're going to build up minutes? I'm going to draw it to a close now. So we're wrapping up this episode of Sutton Podcast. We always appreciate your... Go on. Say it, Joe.
Attention
and feedback. Get involved in the Knowing Me, Knowing You segment. How do you deal with a loss? And follow, like, share, give me all the thumbs up on YouTube and all the other little comments and stuff. Thank you to people who have been commenting recently. I've tried to keep on top of it. Difficult with young George on, because he was very popular on TikTok. I sort of logged into TikTok and saw suddenly 99 likes and comments. I was like, what the hell is this nonsense? So
it's the burgers.
It's the burgers, the burger buns. Maybe we should just change this to the Sutton Podcast on YouTube. To a spin-off series.
So that Brentford burger, let's do 40 minutes just on how like. Before we go, for anyone that doesn't see it, Ashley Naderson has a Twitch channel that I didn't realise he did, and he live streams Fortnite with the other Sutton players. And last night I ended up watching him, Tyler French, Henry Sander, and Josh Cody play Fortnite for 30 minutes and a conversation with him in the chat. And genuinely, it was really entertaining because if you ever want to remind that these people are human, they really are human, especially for people my age because, you know, they're just like four people of any kind of younger age playing any video game. And it just made me laugh. So, yeah, go watch Nadders on Twitch. It is a joyful experience if you're a Sutton fan.
Yeah, I think he does darts on there as well.
He does. I'm gonna go play darts against him when he does next.
I have to get Tim Vine involved. But yeah, follow, like, share, and all that other stuff. Don't forget to subscribe. And we're going to be back after the Solihull match. I think it's Jenny so far, and I'll probably try and grab someone who's watching in the bar as well. Don't let that put you off coming into the bar. Just come anyway. As always, thank you to sponsors Lucky Star Gin. Thank you to yourself, Joe, and for you listening. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast and this episode of the Sutton podcast. Sorry, missed out there. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
United! 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 United!